How's it going, guys? Today I wanted to talk about Toby Fox and his BlueSky account, on which he's been posting a variety of updates and little tidbits of the game-making process regarding Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4, and I wanted to talk about what I think these posts mean for the development of the game and potentially the lore and story of the upcoming chapters. So I will direct your attention to Mr. Tobias Fox's BlueSky account. I think his Twitter is dead, so now he's here on BlueSky. I don't blame him. And he posts a variety of things, including rules for dating me Spamton, and updates about his collabs and various other things. He also had this whole arc where he posted various, this and other things. I don't know where his in the house like carpet is, but essentially just lots going on here, lots to unpack. But there's a few things that I wanted to talk about, and the first one is this one with Jockington saying, "Happy New Year, friends. Don't forget," which is, don't forget. That's pretty big Deltarune words right there. Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 will release this year in 2025, which we already knew from a previous newsletter. But that's good to have, like, confirmation, so that's pretty sweet. The more interesting thing here, and also this is also in tandem with this one, is the, it's now being bug tested, Chapter 4 is, which I think is done now, so that's pretty sweet. These two with Jockington, to me, indicate that Jockington is going to be joining us at some point on a Dark World adventure, which I think is pretty likely for Jockington and Caddy to be joining us at some point. They have portraits and they're very unique personalities. Like Jockington, like, as his name suggests, they're like very sporty, like goofball kind of guy. I think he's hilarious. And then Caddy is kind of like dark, like occult kind of emo cat woman thing. So both are very standout characters that are new to Deltarune, like Birdly and Noelle, and it would not shock me in the slightest if we see them join us on one of our journeys. And these two posts that, center on Jockington and his new catchphrase and his not catchphrase, note, I don't know. These, to me, indicate that Jockington is pretty important. So, whether it's chapters 3 and 4 that we see him play a role, which I would kind of doubt, I think maybe chapter 5 is more likely. But I'll have a whole video about the future Dark Worlds and where I think they're going to be, because I have a few ideas that could tie in Jockington here. I think that he's definitely going to be, if he's not playable, he's definitely going to be like Birdly, at least, where he like shows up and is there. So that's my thoughts on Jockington. The next post I wanted to talk about was this thread right here. He talks about kind of the development process and how he's going to keep posting here until the next newsletter. Talks about translation being done and fixing some of the bugs, and then now he's doing console testing. So one of the things that comes with console testing is he's experiencing the same thing he did with Undertale, which he needs PlayStation achievements. And he says that his testers are not going to like testing the trophies. So this to me indicates that his achievements are not going to be story-based achievements. They're going to be like Undertale, where they're just like kind of throwaway ones, but they might be kind of grindy. So if you're playing on PlayStation and you want to platinum Deltarune, I have bad news for you. Because it sounds like they're going to be interesting. It might be something like pet the dog 1,000 times or something like that, right? Like, it's going to be something probably mundane and stupid, which kind of, fits Toby's whole vibe, and also kind of about how Deltarune, or Undertale rather, was about kind of like gamers seeking completion and seeking to get every last drop out of the game, and how it's kind of dangerous, and how sometimes you should just, let the story marinate and just enjoy it for what it is instead of trying to fish for every last hour of content. That was kind of the plot of Flowey and the genocide route and those kinds of things, right? So it wouldn't shock me if he disincentivizes getting the achievements through making them kind of grindy and lame. So that's the updates here. And finally, the one that came out yesterday? Yeah, it came out yesterday. This was the impetus for this video. Was this post, or these two posts, saying, I showed my family and friends a minigame I've been working on for Deltarune, and they all described it as a cry for help because your game is not out yet. So it's probably a pretty goofy minigame. Chapter 5, I assume. Because he says that he's working on Chapter 5 every day now, and he's not adding new minigames into 3 and 4 because it's already done, essentially. And then he follows up, my family clarified it was a good thing. My other friend didn't clarify, but they did laugh for about 10 minutes straight hearing me play it, so it's gotta be something fascinating, right? And then he says, same friend who played Chapter 3 like over a year ago also told me I missed Tenna, and I was like, man, that's something no one in the world has ever said, huh? So, if you don't know, Tenna is set up as this an antagonistic force that is almost guaranteed to appear in Chapter 3. He was mentioned, he or she was mentioned in the Spamton 6 by Spamton. At least, Tenna is at least antagonistic to Spamton, so most people believe that Tenna will be either the secret boss, or I think this is more popular and more likely, is that Tenna will be the main boss of Chapter 3. And apparently his character is pretty likable because the person that playtested it says that they miss him or her. So people have also heard people be like, does that mean that, like, is Toby saying that he's surprised that people miss Tenna because he doesn't think that Tenna is a likable character? That's not what he's saying. I think what he's saying is just like, no one in the world has said it before because the game's not out yet. Like, his audience has not met Tenna yet and therefore cannot miss Tenna. So I'm just excited to see who his character is, because if the previous bosses and antagonists from Chapters 1 and 2, especially 2 with Queen, are an example of what's to come, I am a big fan of kind of the way that they play out in the formula here, and I think that there's potential for Tenna to be a great character that rivals the likes of Spamton and Jevil. I'm also curious to see who the secret boss is, if there is one. Is he Mike? Everyone seems to be hooked on Mike, Spamton's old pal, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of these new BlueSky posts that came out in the past month or so, and some that even came out yesterday. So these are still constantly being updated. Wanted to talk about that and let you know what I thought that they could say and suggest for the implications of Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 and beyond. So, with that in mind, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos on the channel. But yeah, that's about it. See ya.